Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, where we've got a few nice bits of news for today. So, it's mostly around these two events. We've got the Anomalous Titan event and the Hero's Path kicking off tomorrow. There's a look at the avatar frame. Very cool. Actually, a really cool avatar frame. Very awesome. So, I often like picking up the avatar frames. That one would tempt, that's cool enough to tempt me into pulling more shards than I should. We're going to look at the shard summon event in a second. There was, by the way, one of my viewers on the live stream was they were in great distress about whether or not I actually had enough points to get the final rewards from this. So rest assured, it's going to be fine. That viewer, I can't remember your name, but it's fine. I did have them. Now, why am I bringing this up, though? Well, there's going to be a bunch of content creators. Plarium has 5 of us, I think, have signed up to do live streams. I think there's going to be giveaways where we're going to be, each of us has a particular stage. I was busy yesterday, so I didn't see the voting. So unfortunately, I'm stuck with stage 1. But tomorrow, early enough, so around about the time when CVC starts, which should also incidentally be probably relatively shortly after this goes live in game, right? So maybe an hour or 2 after the Hero's Path at Titan event go live. I will do my videos on those first, get them uploaded, and then when they're uploaded and ready to go, I will be on the stream. We're going to be streaming for about a couple of hours, trying to get the best score I can on stage 1, and I'll need your input to pick the champions for me and all the rest. You guys are going to help, and yeah, it should be good fun. Here you go. Here, I'll even stick. You can actually, you know what? Probably the easiest thing to do, just find my Hell Hades optimizer link down below, and you can look at it's in the description of every video. Hasn't been updated in a little while, my optimizer link, but it's still close enough. You guys know sort of the champs I have. I guess the one that would be new you might not know, but I obviously have Mavara, right? So Mavara is there. She's ready to go if we want to use Mavara. But look at this. We've got oodles of champions. A lot of them, most of them. So, and there's no restrictions. So yeah, whatever your little heart's desire, I can pick them. So yeah, let's see. We can try multiple different strategies, try get a good score. What did I use the first time? This is what I used the first time. It was decent. I think it could definitely be better. But it was a solid team. But yeah, you guys let me know, and we will give it a go. You guys are probably going to troll me horribly. I'm going to get some terrible stuff. So that'll be tomorrow, early morning to midday Irish time. Like, I don't know, for me it's 10:30 right now. It would be about 11 o'clock or so when I'll start tomorrow. Now, we also have the summon info. So it's a typical 15x progressive event starting tomorrow, running for the 96 hours. So I was kind of hoping that maybe they'd mix up this Hero's Path and there'd be some different summon events per day. That is not happening. It's just the one event, which is running through the entire duration of the event. Don't necessarily rush to pull your shards to complete the Hero's Path early on in this event, because you do have, remember, the 4 days of grinding dungeons. Like, you could just grind Spider with your free energy every day and get a decent chunk of points for the Hero's Path. But you will likely have to pull at least some shards if you're going for the Soul or the Titan event. In fact, if you're going for either or, you're probably going to have to pull a significant chunk of shards. Let's see what is in there. It is, I was going to say it's a Dark Elf themed event. It's not. It's like what's the Alliance? Looks like a Corrupted themed event. Let's see, we've got Swarm Speaker Zichlick, Mavara, the web designer herself, Venicia Thrallmother, Maragane, Helath from the regular shards, Queen of Hearts, Sifi, and Narcissus from the voids, and we got a nice, good chunk of epics as well, some solid ones in there. Let's look at the regular shards first. Okay, Mavara. If you don't have Mavara, she's great, but you really should have her, right? We just had the fusion, and you would not be pulling shards. So in fact, let's change this to a warning. Okay, so warning, big warning here. Obviously, Mavara is incredibly good. I think she's amazingly strong. But if you miss the fusion, you would not be pulling for an event for her soul, hoping to get her. It's such a bad idea. You only go for her soul if you have her. Yeah, you'd be crazy to be chasing a 15x event. Remember, actually, good disclaimer, we were talking about this on CBC yesterday. I was saying I need to make it clear every single time. A 15x from your regular shard types is approximately a 5% chance if you get a legendary. So you're pulling all your ancients, you're pulling all your sacreds, finally a legendary pops. A 15x, it sounds really nice, but it's about a 5% chance to get that champion. Or in other words, it's a 95% chance to get somebody else instead. So you'd be crazy to be chasing Mavara in a soul event for her. But that being said, she's extremely good, which is more so what we're talking about here. Zichlick is an interesting question. So Zichlick used to have the problem that Dark Elves was an incredibly bad faction. Now, Dark Elves has improved. We've got Naldua and Mavara. They're both excellent. Arakoa is, I think, underrated as well. Has Zichlick's tide changed? He has 85 reviews. To put that in contrast, we just had an event for Volcanos. Volcanos has 830 reviews. 10 times as many people have Volcanos as have Zichlick. That should tell you a lot. He is interesting single target damage dealer. So he has a 3-turn cooldown double hitter that does more damage every time an enemy receives a debuff. The damage, that boost resets whenever he uses the skill. When he kills enemies, he permanently gets more attack. That's awkward. It means that he's not going to be that good for any clan boss. There's just no enemies to kill. He's going to be strong, obviously, for faction wars. He's going to be decent in arena. But yeah, sort of wave-based content, places where he can actually kill enemies. If he kills an enemy with this skill, it resets the skill and gives him 50% turn meter boost. Now, obviously, you know, if you kill someone with the skill, he's lost the damage increase. So it's, you know, not going to be fully stacked up the second time, but it's still powerful. The 3 faction allies is very strong. 50-50 to attack an enemy with this skill whenever they attempt to place a buff once per enemy skill. So let's say a Sifi tries to put 3 buffs on her entire team. It will only trigger this once. But still, very strong. Good chance to attack. Very good chance. I guess with Sifi placing 3 buffs on 4 champions, you're definitely attacking one of them. Like, that many 50-50 chances, it's, I don't know, effectively impossible. Realistically impossible to not attack one of them. So yeah, cool. Big single target nuke when they attempt to place buffs. This does work against enemies, I think, who, I don't know, his passive interacts weirdly with Stone Skin. We'll talk about that next. He ignores defense if enemies have no buffs. You take less damage from enemies with buffs. You take even less damage if they've got no buffs. So he's just with 1 faction ally, giving you generalist damage reduction, but it's better if they've no buffs. Cool. 2 faction allies, whenever he or an ally removes or steals a buff, his next skill does 50% more damage. That's a nice combo with, let's say, Mavara, who can remove buffs with their A2, or Madame Ceres can remove buffs, etc. Cool. And then 3 faction allies at the start of the round puts block buffs, debuff on all enemies for 1 turn that cannot be resisted. I don't know how this interacts with Total Guard and Mercurial. So, how this works with Stone Skin, and it's hilarious. If Swarm Speaker Zichlick is on defense, so let's say you put him in your siege defense, and you've got a Dark Elf team, either on a Dark Elf post or you've just built a Dark Elf only team. When you get attacked, the enemies place Stone Skin before this triggers, and then he can't place block buffs on them because they've got Stone Skin, so it doesn't work. However, if it's the other way around, and you are attacking a team with Zichlick, he will place block buffs before they get Stone Skin, and it will block the Stone Skin. So this functions differently whether you are on attack or defense with him. It's significantly worse if he's on defense. I don't know how it works with Mercurial. I don't have the champion. I mean, as we can see, barely anybody has the champion, to be fair. But yeah, maybe on offense, it would maybe block Total Guard, but it's hard to know. The coding is obviously absolute nonsense, in my opinion anyway. So I don't know how you could logic your way through it. But yeah, it's potentially very strong. His A2, single target hit, extra turn if he kills an enemy. If they survive, does an extra hit on all enemies, which is really nice. Potential AoE there. And then his A1 can steal a buff and it can't be resisted or blocked. You know, one thing that could work, if enemies get like total guard is a buff, so they take a turn with total guard. He's got a 50-50 when an enemy with 9-piece Mercurial takes a turn. He'll double hit them, one hit to remove the total guard, and then he'll hit them again. And I don't know, like yeah, it's interesting. He's got a decent aura as well, 19% speed in all battles for everyone, and then 60 accuracy for Dark Elves. It's very good. Honestly, Mavara and Naldua have made him much more enticing and much more appealing. Blind Seer's been buffed as well. Not the best synergy. I think Mavara and Naldua are better. Rip Blind Seer being buffed and I think still overshadowed. Obviously, Lydia, Vizix, and Mithrala are very good. None of them are particularly amazing at PvP. I think Lydia and Mithrala are usable, but not top tier. Tremere is pretty decent. She's actually a decent combo with Zichlick because she has AoE stun and she's decently fast as well. She's got a better speed aura, which you might end up using instead of his, maybe. But you could, you know, if you block their Stone Skin, she can AoE stun. It's not the worst combo. Supreme Kale is, again, not great in PvP, but maybe if Zichlick can prevent Stone Skins or Total Guard or stuff, he could do AoE poisons and would kill people very quickly. It's a little bit lacking still to build a good team, but my gosh, has it improved with Naldua and Mavara. Even Xenomorph is in there. So for PvE stuff, there's some better teams as well. Arakoa is decent. I don't know. I like Zichlick. I probably shouldn't recommend him overly much, but I do like him. For me, I might go for him. Let's put him as... I don't think he's a terrible champion to go for, but he's not amazing. And with Dark Elves getting so much love recently here, yeah, it's going to depend. I also feel like they're quite reliant on getting some better Void Legendaries, and then you'd have to get them in the first place as well. It's not like a faction where they've got like some old school Void Legendaries who are good. Like, yeah, I don't know, let's say Banner Lords, you know, like Raglan got reworked. She's great. Taris and Marishka are both good. Barons, they've got a few more options in there. You are still fairly lacking with Dark Elves for like really strong people to pair with the faction unity. So yeah, we'll see. I think he's cool. But yeah, lots to say about him. I think he's just such an interesting champion, and it's so rare to have events for him, and most people don't have him. Venicia is great. I'd give her a tick. I will say Venicia is quite similar to Naldua. I think that she's better than Naldua as a standalone, but Naldua is obviously more valuable if you've got Solinar. But she comes in much like Naldua, AoE attack, removes all buffs before attacking, block buffs and decrease defense. So Naldua just does decreased defense. She does block buffs as well. She's got a triple hit weaken. Naldua has a single hit, but it's a weaken against bosses. It's an enfeeble against non-bosses. So Naldua's A1 is much, much, much better in PvP. Venalicia's is better against anything else that's not PvP, really. Well, I don't know. I guess for wave-based content, Naldua's is very strong as well, that enfeeble. She's got a full team revive. Now, if everyone on the team is dead, it's stronger. And it will also decrease revive skills cooldown, allies cooldowns by 1 turn, which is cool. But it's also just generally, it is an AoE lockout, just always, which is really interesting. So you get a team revive and you put enemy skills a bit on cooldown, which is very strong. And then she's got a very good passive where she gets Turn Meter when an ally dies, which is great. She can put out Pain Link when allies are hit hard, and she heals when attacked by enemies under Pain Link, which is juicy enough to try keep her alive. Yeah, I think functionally she's like Naldua, but a bit better, with the exception that Naldua's Enfeeble is very juicy, and Naldua has the combo with Solinar. But I think they're remarkably similar champions. I think Naldua is kind of better, a little underrated almost, a bit better than people expected. I think Venalicia is a little bit better than that for most players who don't have Solinar. So she's a good champion. She's worth picking up. I will say, slight downside, Knight's Revenant already have Ancora, who is a former fusion, albeit a couple of years ago at this point. They also have Rector Drath. They also have Sabatha. There's quite a lot of very good revivers in the faction already for any faction limited content. So that's a little bit of a downside for her, but she is really good. Maragane, I give a small tick, and Helath a small tick too as well. 2 older fusions, and both pretty decent. Not top tier, but decent champions to have. Maragane, her big claim to fame, heal reduction every turn for 2 turns, that can't be removed, transferred, spread, or have its duration increase or decrease. It's basically a protected heal reduction debuff, incredibly rare and tremendously useful against Amius. She's not there for every Amius rotation, but if you're trying to beat Amius for the first time, right, for your missions or whatever, she can make one of those rotations ridiculously easy because he can't remove the heal reduction. He heals so much, it makes the fight so much easier. Obviously, amazing for the Mimic boss in Grim Forest, amazing for Isheth in Grim Forest. Even some of just the generally harder stages where you can't stop, like Mythicals or whatever, healing up, she can stop it, which is tremendously good. Then she's just a general turn meter pushback, turn meter increase with increased speed. She can steal all buffs and put out True Fears. She can decrease accuracy at boss, decrease speed A1, general speed aura. She's not the best of the best champion, but she is a good generalist speed manipulator. Very generally decent. I've even seen her used in PvP a little bit. Not top tier, but she is a decent option and can be an interesting one because nobody wants to ban this champion because she's not top tier. She's not good enough really to ban, but that means you can build her incredibly fast and have a very strong speed booster that people just don't want to ban. They'd rather ban an Arbiter or something better, you know, like the Star Sage Galathier or Maragane. Who are you going to ban? Obviously Galathier, which would always be a better choice, I think, but it does mean you can get your really good speed champ through. This passive, though, is unique value. It is very cool, and I don't think she's a must-have champion, but she's a really nice champion to have, so I do like Maragane a lot. And then finally, for these regular shards, we have Helath, another very interesting champ. 2 turns block damage on a 4-turn cooldown. Lovely. He also has shields. He also has ignore block damage and weaken A1. I don't like him for damage. His damage is kind of bad. Yeah, he's counterattacking a lot. It's not great. I think where he is better is in like 9-piece protection, where you're getting protected block damage or protected shields. It's a couple of buffs. He can also give you increased defense when the shields expire. So there's potentially 3 buffs with variable uptime that he can give you for a bit of damage boost at 9-piece protection. You could also run him with, I guess, like cooldown reduction and stuff. He is interesting for a couple of places. So number one, a decent option for Arena. There's more ignore block damage champions than ever, obviously, but nonetheless, if they're running a team that can't deal with block damage, he can be a cool pocket pick to whip out and surprise an enemy and put them in a really rough spot. So he does get some use in Arena, not a ton. He also gets some use in Chimera. For Chimera trials, he brings you increased defense. That is a trial, which can be a little tricky to fit in. He brings weaken, very useful, but he brings shields and block damage, which is really nice actually. And he brings counterattacks as well, so he can help with that trial too. And he can do some damage to help with the trials, but he does open up some trials. I've seen people using him for sure in Chimera, which is pretty interesting. Because you've got those trials in Chimera, particularly this lion form, where you have to, number one, do damage while you're under increased defense. He gives you that. Absorb damage with shields. He gives you really big shields. Block damage with block damage. He gives you block damage. So he opens up basically all of trial number 1 for the lion form, which is an awkward enough trial to do, which is pretty cool. So there you are. Yeah, so he gets some use. You could run him maybe like Faultless Defense and Vulcanen's relic thing, which is kind of rubbish, but for some reflecting damage as well. Could be interesting for that trial. So yeah, he's a cool option. I think they're both useful. Not top tier. Neither one is top tier, but they both have clear and quite impactful niche uses, which sets them apart from the average legendary and makes them worth having. So yeah, they're all great. Now we come to, well, let's look at the epics here as well. Doom Priest, Husk, and Anax. I say Doom Priest is decent. Husk is obviously worth having as well. I might give Anax, to be honest, these days. I give him, sorry, I'm using a different color, haven't I? I'm using this one. Yeah, like this. Doom Priest is okay. I feel like Doom Priest was better back in the day, like the game's just come a long way. But I mean, she is removing a random debuff every single turn. That's quite useful. It's definitely helpful for progressing in, well, Doom Tower, Grim Forest, any of that sort of stuff. Consistent cleansing is nice. Increased attack. Like her active skills kind of suck. Her passive, her aura sucks. Like it really is a tiny bit of healing. And it's mostly just consistent debuff removal. So she's worth having. She's not exceptional, I think, in 2026, but she's worth having. Husk, likewise, he's not exceptional, but he's worth having, and he's a great progression option because he's an AoE enemy max HP. He's Force Affinity, so it's kind of unusual, right? For some of those rotations of Hydra, he gives you a bit of coverage for that. Or some bosses, he gives you the Force coverage. Good against bosses. He's got the Provoke one as well, which is useful for Hydra. It's useful for the Magma Dragon. Yeah, that's Husk. He's a decent champion. So there he is. And oh, this went small. Anax. Anax is a weird one. He's here. So Anax does a lot of damage. He has Weaken and he heals. He's got decreased accuracy and poison for 3 turns. And then he's got a decreased defense A1. So you get decreased defense, Weaken, decreased accuracy, and some poisons. There's loads of debuffs. He hits really hard, but he's incredibly squishy. Now, when he drops lower on life, he gets increased defense, then increased attack, and then he gets an extra turn when he drops really low on life. The funny thing is, back in the day, this guy was a great budget pick for block damage Demon Lord teams, back when that was a really important thing. But he was kind of awkward for unkillable teams, because unkillable, you drop down to 1 hit point, but he'd get an extra turn, and it would break speed tunes, right, which were a very important thing back then. But look, that's years ago. It's not really that relevant in 2026. Like, the quality of free legendaries people are getting, of fusions, of champions in general, has gone up so much that, like, Demon Lord is something you progress through far faster than you would have back then. And building these awkward speed tune teams is nowhere near as important. And all of the new content really is not relevant for that at all. So yeah. How is Anax these days? I actually genuinely don't know. He will do good damage, but he's going to be very difficult to keep alive. He's got good debuffs. I think he's probably not that useful. Like, I've put him as orange. Like, he's a maybe. He might be kind of useful, but I think these other 2 epics are better. Anax, I don't know. I think he's, like, decent on paper, but do you actually use him? You guys let me know. Anyone actually using Anax? I'm kind of skeptical about him for 2026. Then we've got the Voids. Queen of Hearts, Siphi, and Narses. So Queen of Hearts gets a definite tick. Smaller tick for Siphi probably. And, a small tick for Narses. I think they're all good. I think Queen of Hearts is probably the best one. Sorry, she's Knight's Revenant, isn't she? I think she's probably the best. You've got increased attack, full team ally attack with an AoE, decreased defense for 2 turns, and turn meter boost. She's got full buff removal with Deathbrand and True Fear. And the insane passive, where every 10 buffs the enemy gets, she gets an extra turn, which is so cool for cutting in against buff heavy teams. Ally attack, I think, is really good value with Mercurial. The Deathbrand is super useful. Yeah, I think she's a fantastic champion, and she's good in PvE as well. She's a good generalist, but also really good for PvP. Very cool. There's not that many good ally attack champs. I think she's fantastic, and that passive is really good for PvP. So yeah, I think she's great. I think she's solid. There's certainly, I think, more meta Void legendaries these days, obviously. She's fallen off a little bit in that sense, but I think the ally attack with Mercurial is quite decent. Yeah, and she's got the AoE A1 with it. I think she's a solid pickup. Siphi, it's definitely fallen out of the meta. Poor old Siphi. Just part of it is simply just better champions, slowly power creeping her. But she's really struggled against champions like Nell, champions like Volcanos. Supersonic set is a nightmare for her as well. The Temporal Chains Blessing is a nightmare, but that's not really run because you've got a bunch of champions that just spam A1 attacks when you do any turn meter shenanigans these days. All Solinar, Marius, Sabriel now as well. She is good. She's really good. I've got her. I bought a 6-star soul for her. I don't regret it. I use her a lot. My main use for her, truth be told, is for 9-piece protection block debuffs. Getting up a protected block debuffs is really solid. And, being a little bit faster than my debuffers, like, she could potentially... Her turn meter boost is very small, only 10%, but she could boost into a Fabian. Now, one thing I would say is, I think if you've got Freya, which many of you might have, you could just invest in your Freya instead. Her base speed is slightly lower, but she has a 20% turn meter boost, which is probably more useful than Siphi's 10% with increased speed. This is probably a bit better, and she's got debuff removal with block debuff. So I think you could do the same thing. You could use Freya in 9-piece protection. She's got less buffs, so she's going to be triggering less supersonic, less, etc., all that other stuff as well. And then she's also giving you really good shield, which is great. She can do some good damage. The cheat death. Siphi has the revive, It's not the best. It's more of an emergency thing. One thing about Sifi, she is really handy for farming Sand Devil because she's got the sleep that cannot be resisted. So any other sleep debuff in the game, 97% chance it works. That's giving you a 3% chance to fail your Sand Devil run if you're relying on like a one-shot team. Sifi gives you 100% farm, speed farm of Sand Devil, and that's really good. So I think Sifi is great. I do recommend going for her. But, you know, she's not the god tier champion that she would have been back in the day, where she would have been, like, no question, one of the best champs in the game. We just have better champs like Theodosia and Galathier and stuff like that these days that are more dominant, more impactful. But, like, here, her sleep cannot fail. His decreased defense can't fail. They're both irresistible. So 100% of the time, they work every time, which is really useful. And nice little speed farm. And if we had a better Soul Reap on this newt, it would have been over a little bit faster. But yeah, I can, 20 seconds, I can spend more energy than I could ever have in the game if I wanted to. Narcisse, he'd be my number 3 recommendation here. He's good, but not insane. His nice thing is that his A2 does ignore passives, which is cool. So he can, like, kill Siegfried past his passive, which is nice. Yeah, it's cool. And this hits hard. It's very strong against enemies with shield or strengthen. He's got a double hit. It can block revive, but it's quite conditional. He's got the combo with Ancora. One thing is nice. He is immune when Ancora is there. He doesn't take any damage from counterattacks, which is cool. When Solinar is hitting you 9 billion times, he's not taking any. He'd still get fatigued and go asleep, but Ancora can protect him from that with her passive, and like he won't take damage. Now Ancora might just die from Solinar's 9 billion attacks, but at least Narcisse will survive. I don't know. He's decent. I think he's not top tier, but he's usable. He's viable. He can be useful to have. He is very strong against enemies with shield or strength, and that's where he's at his best with this A2 because he gets the extra hit. I kind of feel like outside of that niche, he's not that useful. And like, yeah, he ignores passives, but if they don't have shield or strength, then I still wouldn't be looking towards the Narcisse, to be honest. So I think he's decent to have. But he is, in fact, I'd even say he's sort of borderline for me of whether would I spend, if I was at Mercy, would I go for him? Probably not. I'd go for Queen of Hearts. Sifi is, it's worth considering. Narcisse is probably not, to be honest, actually, for a 15x event. But I mean, he is a decent champ. I won't put him as a no. None of these are a no. And then we've got Whisper and Madame Ceres. Whisper would get the big tick, and Madame Ceres probably only a medium, to be honest. So Whisper is the clear winner. She is fantastic single target boss damage. Because she's an epic, it's much easier to get a high level soul for her, which means you can get Crushing Rend and it'll give her an even bigger damage boost, although it won't boost her A2, but it'll still give her a big damage boost. She brings Weaken, extra turns, extra damage against bosses. She's just lots and lots of boss damage. You'll see her, she's been used a bunch against the Tainted Demon Lord. She is really good. Like, she's genuinely great. So, yeah, very helpful for any boss in the game. Madame Ceres is... like the sort of slight problem is we've just had, if you picked up Naldua, you've got AoE buff removal, decreased defense, but with revive and enfeeble A1, I don't know, like Madame Ceres a bit awkward to fit in. Now she is good. AoE decrease attack, decrease defense, buff removal. It's good. But yeah, she used to be a meta arena champion back in the day, but then Stoneskin came out, and now there's Total Guard, there's Lightning Cage. Like, she's just not really relevant there. She's a decent PvE debuffer, but yeah, I feel like she's nowhere near as useful as she was. She's useful for faction wars. All the buff removal, decrease attack, decrease defense is good, but she's not a must-have champ. And yeah, I mean, you've got such good champions in here. Like, if you picked up Mavara, if you got Xenomorph, Naldua, then Matrala, Vizix, Lydia are all champions you get eventually. Like, you're running pretty low on slots for Dark Elf faction wars. Is Madame Ceres good enough to slot in there? Probably not. Now, Zichlick probably would, but Madame Ceres, nah, man. So, yeah, I don't know. I think she's a nice champ to have, but I think, again, kind of like Anax as well. They were, like, really good in, I don't know, 1975 or whatever when the game first came out. And, like, that's cool, but are they relevant in 2026? Probably not. And, yeah, probably even myself overrating these champions a little bit based off how useful they actually are these days. Good champs on paper, but a little bit lacking in the place. So what I'd be going for, Queen of Hearts number 1, Madame Ceres number 1, and then from your other shards, I would say Venicia probably number 1, but these number 2, and he could be like a possible number 1 with Zichlick if you're intrigued by him, because he is such a unique champion. For me, I'll probably go for Zichlick. I don't have Venicia, but I'd probably go for Zichlick. If I'm pulling these types of shards, which I'm not sure what I'm going to pull yet, I'll go for Zichlick because he's more unique, more interesting, more fun. He might not be as useful to my account as Venicia might be, but I think he's more fun and intriguing and interesting. If Naldua didn't exist, I'd be more tempted by Venicia, but because I can just use Naldua. So yeah, that'd be my thoughts on it. For me personally, I'd go for something that's maybe less impactful potentially, but more intriguing there. But yeah, and then over here I'd go for I guess Doom Priest. You know what? I'd probably actually go for Husk number 1 and Doom Priest number 2. And there you go. Those would be my choices. Let me know what you think. What are you going for? I'll see you guys for the bonus live stream. First ever Thursday live stream, maybe, for some Demon Lord stuff. We'll try get I guess it's just for fun really, but it's maybe you guys will be inspired, pick up some tips. See some champions tested if you want me to test them and give you my thoughts on how to build them, etc. Let's focus in. One thing I think, the big thing about stage 1, right? This is the stage where you've got the potential to get the best score. Right? Like, I mean, you can see from my scores, it was just 1 attempt on each one. Obviously, my stage 1 is miles ahead of every other stage because there's no restrictions. This is the stage where any of you could get your best scores. Why not? If your stage 3 was your best team, you could just run the stage 3 team on stage 1 as well. There's no reason it wouldn't be better. So stage 1 is the one where you can get the most points. You now have the maximum global bonus. So it's the time to see what could you actually get in terms of your personal rewards. That's sort of the thing. Max out the personal rewards. So we'll see how we can do with that. So I will see you guys for that. Oh, you know what? For you guys who watched the end of the video, I did get the 50 Chaos Awakes Mythicals. Let's go. Video luck. Well, we'll put somebody, we'll figure out what to do with this on that stream as well. Let's go. Let's go. Thanks for watching. Sorry if that sickens you. If it makes you feel better, I've crafted several Mythicals in a row now and got absolutely nothing. So I probably, in terms of the actual mythic fragments, I think I'm due one for the last while. I got a mythical last time, back when Grim Forest first came out. I think it was the second rotation of Grim Forest. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.